Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel. My name is Tony. This is the 15-minute gamer, and today I'm going to cover my top management games. Even though most are on the PC, some are available on consoles. Playing management sims is and always has been one of my favorite things to do. Back in the days, I would spend countless hours on Theme Park to Sim Tower to Sim City, Dungeon Keeper, Championship Manager. I would hate to think how many hours I've got in that. This list isn't in any particular order, and I've tried to pick games from different genres, so it's not just from one of type of sim, it's from many. With that being said, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, of course, smash that like button, and comment below to let me know what you think. Right, without further ado, let's crack straight on with it. Prison Architect. This was one game I followed from a very early alpha and backed on the website, and it was the game that launched the 15-minute gamer gaming channel. This was the first video I did on my channel all them years ago. It had a great dev team who almost done like monthly updates on YouTube, and it was really good to see how they were working together, them talking about what was coming, features that did and didn't make it as well. Prison Architect holds a dear place in my heart. Designing and running a successful prison isn't easy. Take the warden's job and you must build cells and facilities to cater to all manner of criminals intent on violence or escaping. Add in the gangs and different categories of prison to throw into the mix, and you have a bit of a melting pot. You have the freedom. Are you going to run a punishing regime with tiny cells, regular shakedown with loads of guards everywhere? Or are you going to try and rehabilitate the prisoners through learning programs and creature comforts? Building different prisons to test your ideas is a lot of fun. It can be tough to maintain order, and it can be a little bit difficult to turn a profit. Unfortunately, this game is now run by a different team, and even though the base game is fantastic, the DLC is pretty terrible. I wouldn't recommend any of it. However, Prison Architect's a fantastic game, well worth it. Tropico 6 El Presidente. The Tropic series is just a great bunch of games, with 6 being the latest in the series. It has a unique art style, sense of humor, and game direction throughout the series. Basically, the premise is, can you turn a tropical backwater paradise into a major player on the world stage? You're a dictator, you decide what's best for your people and guide your nation towards greatness, survive the world wars, the Cold War, and reach the modern day. Outside all the political stuff, there's a decent city builder out there that challenges you to extract resources, manufacture profitable goods, and keep your discontented citizens happy. There's also like advisors that'll give you little tasks to do, and you can make decisions and stuff like that. You can even silence, assassinate, and jail your civilians. Of course you can. You're a dictator. One downfall maybe is that space is a little restricted, is one thing I would say. The series hasn't changed much over the years, but it's an interesting mix of ideas with like kind of an added comedic tone to it, and it'll keep you playing for a long time. 2 Point Hospital. Now, one of my earliest memories of gaming was playing Theme Hospital. I loved that game, and 2 Point Hospital is definitely a spiritual successor in all but name. And just like Theme Hospital, this strikes that comedic tone really well with its silly afflictions, with like Bulbhead, Sonic, Bedface, clown things, and you usually have some sort of like weird machine to cure them. The game revolves around being tasked with running struggling hospitals. You must build treatment rooms, wards, and other facilities, and then staff them properly, and also train them staff up to learn new things as you race to diagnose and treat an ever-growing intake of patients. You can also decorate your hospital for some extra points. It never gets too challenging, it's pretty chilled, and there aren't many management sims out there that give you this light-hearted approach to management. There's loads of DLC, it's a bit of a mixed bag, and there's none out there that I would highly recommend. Frostpunk may be the most bleak and utterly unforgiving game on the list. It is bleak as hell, but It's very enjoyable. You must battle for survival as you carve a city out of the frozen wasteland. Like a lot of games on the list, you have to extract resources, provide shelter for your civilians, and research new technologies as you struggle to keep your civilians warm. It's like a circular city built around like a central heat source. The game has a really unique identity where it's like steampunk styling and the music's just fantastic. The gameplay is super challenging. It's really difficult and you're always on the edge of failure. You're never quite sure when you're going to fail in this game. However, that makes it super satisfying when you manage to pull through. They've also just announced Frostpunk 2, so go check it out. Football Manager 2021. There are a few games in this world that I have played for as long as Football Manager and Championship Manager. I'm not talking about time, I'm talking about length of my life. I have played them all from the very early days, and I love this gaming series. Few games manage to blur that line between fantasy and reality as effectively as Football Manager. This is the sort of game when you're not playing, you're thinking, what am I doing for the next game? How am I going to set up? Who am I going to sign? And that sort of thing. And there is no greater challenge of taking your team, in my case Newcastle United, and guiding them to glory. It's just one of the greatest feelings in the world. And if you fancy a challenge, well, you can pick almost any team from any country, from any league. And it's just like picking a team like Gateshead or something in the really lower divisions and really working on it can just add to the difficulty. Or you can pick something like Man City, Barcelona, win everything and have a bit an easier time. There's not many games that allow you to do that. The stats and data on the players is just so accurate. You can spend hours stuck in a rabbit hole of stats and figures before you even kick a ball. Like starting a new season, you can spend an hour and a half, 2 hours on one screen. It's unreal. And anyone with a fondness of the beautiful game will just fall for its charms. Football Manager is all consuming. It's one of them games that works best for me on a laptop, sitting watching a film or TV. Because you're just going to spend hours looking at stats, look at the TV, look down at your laptop and play. This year's edition 2022 is out soon. Lots of new features in there and I can't wait to play it. Rimworld. Rimworld is not only one of the best management games out there, it's also just one of the best games. I would recommend this game to any PC player. Rimworld, I just love. You can also find a recent video I did on top mods for it too. There's so many mods out there. You see, many games used to be called Dwarf Fortress-like. Now you'll be seeing them called Rimworld-like. And I just think that shows what Rimworld is. Such an important game. It combines the challenge of resource management and colony building on a random alien planet filled with colourful characters and loads of stories. You've also got to manage a group of colonists who will basically be trying to kill themselves and go crazy at every opportunity. I have played many games like Rimworld, but still just nothing compares to that sci-fi chaos that this brings. It looks difficult to get into. I promise you it's not. There's loads of good tutorial videos out there. And the best thing about Rimworld is the stories that you make. When you finish a game session, you'll have so many stories. You remember the names of your colonists. You remember how they died. You remember that mistake they made. You remember your pets. It is just, the stories behind it are just amazing and unrivaled. Cities Skylines. This might be a few years old now and it's probably one of the oldest games on the list. But even after all these years, it is just the reigning champion of city builders. Nothing comes near it. And after SimCity went just all rubbish, and yeah, we'll not even discuss that. This is an open-ended construction simulation. It's absorbing. It's a massive challenge. It's easy to get lost. You'll just be tinkering for hours, building transport systems, road networks, upgrading, looking after sewage and power. The modern scene is fantastic as well. The basic format of creating residential, industrial and commercial zones, building roads and provided services is all going to be similar to those SimCity players, but there are some intriguing city management options pop up as your city grows. The potential scale even in the base game is just awesome. There's also been quite a few DLCs that for a change are actually all worth picking up because they add something else to the game. All these things combined with the awesome DLC, the awesome base game, and the brilliant modern scene just leads to such a fantastic experience. Factorio. Factorio, you factory building beauty. Almost no game compares to the addictive and OCD bringing nature that this game can bring. There's such a satisfying challenge of gathering resources and then automating processes to turn this into an increasingly complex machine. For those who don't know, to sum this game up is difficult, but basically, you start off only being able to mine coal by hand, but then you can build a mine to mine the coal. Then you have to empty it by hand, so you build a sorter to take the coal out and into a storage box. I saw someone sum it up as your goal of this game is to play itself for you, and there's no better summing it up there. Some of the creations, factories and lines you see people building in this game are unreal. I really recommend you check out some YouTube videos. Also, what I love about this game is as you disturb the native life and as your factories grow, they get more angry. So there's a drive there to constantly research and refine and optimize your factory. Plus the balance of getting defenses up and walls up to sort of kill all them increasingly tough aliens. It's just an engrossing mix that'll have you playing for hours. Alongside Rimworld, this is one of my favorite games of all time. Stardew Valley. When trying to sum this game up, it's probably better to think of it like this. What's your ultimate fantasy? No, not that one. I'm looking at you. The idea of simply leaving the world of work behind and moving to the country to do something simpler and more rewarding. And to me, that's what Stardew Valley is. This is one of the things that just makes Stardew Valley such an enjoyable game. It's not just well made. It doesn't just look great. It's not that it's just well written with great characters. It's the perfect escapism from modern life. It's the almost perfect podcast / music on / TV on / background noise play game. There's not much danger. It's cute. It's got a surprising amount of depth and places to explore and people to meet. Many games have tried to copy and most don't even get close. Stardew Valley is just an ultimate game that's out there. If you haven't tried it already, get it tried. And on to the final game on this list. They Are Billions. I have so many hours in this game. They Are Billions is an awesome RTS management tower defense game. It also has a super brutal difficulty because there's a lack of a save system. One lone zombie can wipe out hours of progress, and that's not a lie, in seconds. However, if you Google how to save They Are Billions, you will find a little way around it if you want to use it. You have to build and defend colonies to survive against the billions of infected that seek to annihilate you. You start off with a few soldiers, you gather raw materials, build walls, put housing down. Then you'll kind of get your area started and then you'll want to expand. One thing this game does very well is the way expanding is handled. Expanding is a real challenge as you're never quite sure what's round the corner. Generally it's going to be zombies, but there's a very fine line between when to move forward, when to defend, and when to consolidate, and this game gets the balance perfect. There are several They Are Billions games in the works at the moment. I've seen quite a few demos pop up, and I think that just shows the impact that this game had. I love the base game. However, the campaign was a bit of a letdown, so I'd maybe just stick to the standard mode. There is a fantastic modern community out there. This game looks fantastic. It has a great atmosphere, and the amount of enemies you face is just mind-blowing. And there we have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that quick look at my top management games that are out now. If you have any others to add to the list, please leave a comment below and let me know what you think. If you agree with some of my decisions or disagree, again, just comment below. So I'll catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.